Steve back in the Austral Islands. We are here visiting our third island, Rurutu, and I'm excited to be sharing a couple hikes with you here on this spectacular place. We're going to be doing one hike kind of across the top of the island along the ridge to the highest summit, and then we're also hoping to be able to visit the Monsters Cave. So all of this is weather permitting, but I'm real excited to be here in Rurutu. We've got a beautiful sunny day here on Rurutu, and we're going to begin our hike to the highest summit. And as we do so, we have some coffee trees here, and this kind of marks the start of the trail. There's various routes that can be used to get to the highest summit, which is known as Mount Manureva. But we're starting here at probably the most popular place to start this hike, which will give us several hours on trail to get to the summit. So let's get started on this trail, which is also a four-wheel drive road. Really interesting to see this coffee plantation here as we start. Not something I see at home, obviously. Here's a horse along the trail. Horse sightings are very common here in the Australs. Everyone has them tied up and they're used for work purposes. Just want to show you what the trail, as it's called, looks like. Supposedly most of the way is a four-wheel drive track like this, which of course our rental vehicle wouldn't be able to go on, but regardless we want to hike. So this is the hiking route to the summit. Second horse we're passing by on the trail here. Let's greet the horse. We are seeing quite a few guava trees along the trail. No one's been picking the fruit of this one. It's actually all fallen on the ground right here. Check out these great views from the trail looking off to the east. Really awesome here. Here you can see the trail slash road we're hiking up. And looking to the southwest there, notice that large hill in the distance. So we must have started right around the base of that, and that would be a good extension to the south, no doubt, because you could have some additional views than what we're seeing. And then this here is the view to the west. First time we can see the water in that direction over all of the tall trees. Nothing like having a cow with horns on the trail right in the middle when you need to get by. Fortunately, this cow is very calm and relaxed. Like most animals on this island, they're not aggressive. Got some nice bananas here, but they're not ready, so unfortunately won't be having a snack along the trail. Just want to show you an obstacle we just crawled under. Not sure if you can see this, but there are power lines above us, and there was a storm here yesterday. This very well could be a down power line. So we crawled under this and we're getting out of this area. Just want to show you right here, we have a great view of one of the smaller villages on the island. Down below us, just passing it by, it's to the right of us, or east. Remnants of the storm. Flooded trail where tire tracks usually would be. Check out this grapefruit tree. Just growing wild, but look how big these are getting. Nobody wants them. A wild grown tree. Just wanted to show you how overgrown the trail has gotten at this point. No semblance of a road other than faint tire tracks, but clearly no one has driven this in a long time. It's plants and grass have taken over. Okay, so early thoughts on the trail here. It's gotten quite a bit more overgrown. But early thoughts on the trail. A lot of butterflies, as I just saw there. Interesting things going on, spider webs. But at the same time, great views keep opening up to the left and right, west and east, to see down to the bottom of the island, almost 1,000 feet below us, and on out into the ocean. So far so good on this hike. Most of these flowers have not been in bloom yet, they're closed up, but here's one of the few exceptions we've run into. Been walking steadily downhill for a while. The area has opened up a bit and we've been dropping some elevation, so that means we're gonna have some steep climbs ahead as we progress toward the summit, heading north toward Manureva. Just a really pretty scene here walking through this grassy area. We've just passed a junction with roads going in all different directions. So we stayed on the summit ridgeline and could actually see the summit briefly, but I couldn't show it yet because things were too overgrown. We got some bees right here, just along the side of the trail, but safe distance away that we can just walk right on by it. Look at this awesome view. Right there, our first very clear view of the summit, the highest point here on Rurutu. And of course that's known as Mount Manureva. So we're on our way there. Trail obstacle ahead. Oh, not too bad. Got a nice view here of some waves breaking over the reef. This is looking off to our west while hiking. Short update here on the trail. We've been literally walking along the summit ridgeline. Of course, you can see it's a fairly wide road up here along the top. Different roads breaking off at different points, turning, but if you know the route, it's easy to follow. We've connected here with the Cross Island Road. Looks like it's in really good condition, at least right here. And we've got to go up just a little bit and turn right. And leaving the road. Trail right here. You can see the sign for Manureva, which is the name of the highest peak here on Rurutu. Love all these purple flowers. These always make the trail so pretty. I think this right here is one of my favorite views so far from the trail, looking down at Avera village, and then the far background, some spectacular limestone cliffs with the waves breaking just right at the base of them. Making good progress to the summit. Just want to show you how beautiful the trail is. These plants with the white flowers. All these nice trees. Got a little bit of clouds in the sky, but it would be shaded anyway through here. Hear the wind blowing. Another pretty scene here as we have been hiking quite steadily uphill, but it's just, the forest is so beautiful up here. Look at these trees. Really loving this trail. Only about 10 minutes away from the summit right now, and I have to say this last portion from where we crossed the Cross Island Road to the summit here has been my favorite. It's just really nice forest walking through here, and some great views. I'm saving the views for the very summit, but be up there soon. Hike's going real well. Right here, the road has completely ended and we're finally on a trail. Final push to the summit right here. This is the summit climb. Looks like it's roped. Continuing the climb here. Very steep, steepest part of the trail. I'm using roots as steps. You can see the rope railing is fallen. It's in disrepair. Some steps have been chopped into the dirt here. Very slippery climb at the moment. Mount Manureva welcome sign here just before the final path up. Looks like a little shelter at the top. Summit arrival. Here are the summit views. Now this is looking along the ridge line to the southwest. My Trails app claims that the route continues here, but it's totally overgrown and unsafe. We are going to stop here and not attempt that. Looking over in this direction, this is to the west. And then looking here to the north, continuing around at the summit, and this is looking to the east here. Great view across the island. We were standing along the top of that ridgeline there earlier. That's the ridgeline we followed to get here. And then let me show you my favorite view here, and this is looking to the south. Look at this view right here, showing the village down below. Really spectacular and very windy also up here. All right, that's going to do it from the summit here, the highest point on Rurutu. Very successful hike for us getting up here. But just a word of caution, there's some steep drop-offs and cliffs all around the summit area, and the railings are in disrepair. So I encourage caution for anyone who comes up here. And also, I don't advise continuing along the so-called trail if it exists past here, because it's totally overgrown and we don't want to see any more tragedies up here. So it's best to stick to the established and maintained trail. Anyway, we're heading down now. Wonderful views at the top all around the island. We can see all around Rurutu. Very, very beautiful. See you back out on trail tomorrow as we're gonna hike to Monsters Cave. We are heading out for our hike here. Our second hike on Rurutu. Heading to visit 3 caves, including the famous one, Monsters Cave. Hike is real beautiful, starting along the coast here. Got some waves breaking over. Very nice day for hiking. Here is how the path starts out. Passing by some flowers. Easy path to follow to start out. Truly beautiful setting for this hike. Right where the jungle meets the ocean. We actually have our very first view of Monsters Cave from this spot on the trail. Let me zoom in just a little bit. There's also a sea arch there down below the cave. Pretty spectacular. Doing a steep jungle climb right here. Some very sharp rocks. Definitely need to show caution through here. This would hurt real bad. Behind me is the entrance to the very first cave along this route, the first of 3 we will be visiting. And I found out that this in English would be called First Arrivals Cave, because the first Tahitians to arrive here on Rurutu actually stayed in this cave and made it their home. So this is the very first spot where people stayed on Rurutu. Let me show you some of the sights inside the cave. Mel's climbing. We're heading up to the next section of this hike. Very dangerous rock. Extremely sharp. Could easily cut anything on your body. We've entered into our second cave. Sketchy climb up. Beautiful formations up here. A couple of sketchy down climbs right here. Had to come down this. And right here, Stefan's about to climb over and down the next part, right through here. And you can see Stefan climbing down there. Right behind me, that is the exit point of the second cave. We just went through it, cut through the mountain. Difficult climbs, definitely not advised without a guide, but really cool inside. Check out the view of the second cave from the outside here. That's the entrance right in the middle. The passage, I should say, that we came through. Now coming down some more sharp rock. Heading down. I believe we're heading on to Monsters Cave now. Just want to show you some of this very sharp and dangerous terrain. One slip and fall and this stuff could cut you like a knife. Not joking. We are just above the waves and the beach once again. Really pretty sight here. I want to show you right here. We are walking by the edge of sheer cliffs. Major caution in order here. Very beautiful scene out here. Just incredibly beautiful along here. Can't believe how nice this coastline is. We're really seeing some of the best of Rurutu right now. Check out these epic cliffs above us. Even some formations hanging down there on the right side. See the ocean coming in right here. We had to climb up right here to continue. And that brought us into an area to crawl through. Next section right here. Very small path. Look at this. We've arrived at Monster's Cave. These are the teeth of the monster. Right here's the entrance where we came in. Let me show you what it's like to walk through the Monster's Cave. Teeth everywhere. Quite an experience. Right here in the background behind me you can see Monster's Cave. I'm going to share some of the views with you. Really incredible place. The formations make it look like the monster has teeth, and you can also see the eyeball and neck of the monster from this side. So let me show you some footage. Well, that's a wrap. We've just finished the hike to Monster Cave as well as the other two caves. Very challenging. 100% advise getting a guide for this hike, not trying to do it alone, even if you found the route. And also, I don't recommend it for children. As well, there's a lot of sharp rocks that you can easily cut yourself on, and there's also areas of exposure along cliffs. and then there's also climbing up and down. So definitely not for everyone, but really enjoyed Monsters Cave. It was such a cool place. I'm here with my guide Pa, famous all over Rurutu, and he is bushwhacking, leading the way for us to go on my final hike here. And he's leading me to Secret Cave, a place that cannot be done without a guide. Real excited for this final cave hike here on Rurutu. Pa is clearing the trail ahead of us. Very heavily overgrown trail. It doesn't get much use. Pa is clearing the way with his machete. Passing by some of the same sharp rocks seen during yesterday's hike of Monster Cave. Pa just reminded me not to touch these or to be careful. Right here, Pa has reminded me that we're on the side of a cliff. Big drop down, so to be careful going down this section. So we came down this steep section by the cliff. See the cliff right here, kind of scary, and right here is where we enter the cave. See, Pa's getting his headlamp on. We're gonna go inside. Right here, the entrance. This is the view right inside the cave. Not sure how well I'll be able to show this from this point on. Pa set up some candles and rope so we could get down this very steep part. Now we're going this way into the vast darkness. We just made it back to the cave entrance. Had an incredible guide. Pa led us down about 1 hour down into the depths of the cave by ropes and route finding into a beautiful swimming pool at the bottom. Such an incredible cave, but experience level is high for this one. Definitely some climbing experience and exposure, but truly beautiful cave. And again, very appreciative to my guide Pa. Just an awesome place. Making our final stop here in Rurutu at an additional cave. This one was located not far from our lodging. Well, that's a wrap for our time here on Rurutu. So, hope you enjoyed checking out those 3 hikes with us. The first hike to the summit of Mount Manureva, the highest point here on the island. And then, of course, we did the hike to the 3 caves, which included Monsters Cave. Truly incredible. And then the final hike I did solo with my guide, Pa. And that was to Secret Cave, deep underground. About an hour underground and about 30 minutes coming back up. I wasn't able to show it as well as I would have liked due to lighting issues, but had a great time swimming at the bottom. So now it's on to Rimatara, and got something special lined up there. Not hiking, it's a smaller island that's relatively flat, but we will be going there in search of Ura. So thanks for joining us from Rurutu. Catch you later.